She's amazing, absolutely amazing. Okay, so we're going to ask Joey Wright to come up in a second. Joey, again, lucky to have Joey in South Australia. He's a retired American professional basketball player. Joey's had a prestigious playing and now coaching career. In 2013, the Adelaide 36ers secured NBL championship winning coach Joey Wright, who took the 36ers into the grand final series against the Perth Wildcats, and has been recognised on many occasions as a leading coach in basketball in this country. So Joey, thanks very much.
Testing. Oh, I'm on. Okay. Thank you guys for having me here, first of all. It's far too often when we come out and talk about inclusion or diversity that sometimes people think you're whining or complaining. So to have an open forum where I can be pretty frank and honest with you guys is a great opportunity. Far too often in Australia, you guys don't like to talk about color or race or exclusion or inclusion. All right, it's just something that you just don't like to do. You get really nervous about it. We all have, thoughts and impressions. I noticed right away during the dancing, I was a lot better dancer than most people. Nothing wrong with that. I did notice that though. I have friends that we're trying to, identify someone, and it'll be a person of color. And they'll be like the person with the red shoes on, the one with the, the hat. And I'm going, the black guy? Why didn't you just say the black guy? It's one in the entire room. Say the black guy. It's okay. Okay, so, to be able to talk about it and get it out there is a great thing. I feel like a lot of times in Australia, it's not overt racism or exclusion, it's more ignorance. And people just don't know. I'll give you two examples, and these are true to the word. Two examples. One I just recently dealt with at the under-18s national tournament. I seen a young lady who I thought was a really good basketball player who happened to be an Indigenous young lady. And I said to the guy next to me, I said, man, that girl's a really good player. And he goes, yeah, but she'll go walkabout on you. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he goes, oh, who knows? She comes from a really, really Aboriginal family. And I was like, oh. And I was kind of sat there. He got up immediately after saying it and walked away. Me and the other group, I just sat there. I was with my 14-year-old daughter, and we sat there, and she just turned to me and go, did you hear that? And so the fact that he was so ignorant to the fact, because if he thought he was saying something wrong, he wouldn't have walked away immediately, because we talked about him for about the next hour, how stupid he was, until he came back and sat down again. So, just ignorance, and I just was blown away that he said it. This other example, I'll try to stay as neutral as I can so I don't expose anyone, but this affected me directly in my ability to win basketball games as a coach. We were recruiting a young man from a different background. And one of my board members said, I don't think we can bring him in. I don't think he'll pay attention. I don't think he'll, do the right thing. And I said, well, what do you mean? I said, this young man's lived in Canada. He's lived in the United States. He's lived in Europe. He's probably more worldly than me or you. I mean, he's lived all over the world, and he's earned a lot of money. And the response I got was, well, that's not the problem. It's when he comes back here and hangs out with his own, that's when he'll go missing. And I was like, really? And I put my, I was eating when he said it, and I just put everything, I said, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I tell you what, we can bring him in, but we'll do one thing. If he comes in, he'll have to stay with a person. He named the person. And I said, well, what difference would that make? He goes, oh, well, he'll teach him how to act right. And I said, well, you do know the person that you want him to stay with is probably our loosest guy. He's down here on Hindley Street every single night. I said, we don't want to put him with him. He goes, yeah, but he'll teach him how to drink responsibly. Oh my goodness. These are true incidents. I have to deal with that. As a result, we did not secure that young man's business. He decided to play basketball somewhere else. He has no idea of that. But that affected me and my ability to actually win basketball games. These are the things that I deal with. Now, the reason I say it's ignorance, because as you guys probably have noticed, I am of color. So if people are saying these things to me, we know that it's real. Now, they think it's okay because I'm Afro-American. I'm different black. I don't know what that means a lot of times, but they think I'm somewhat different. But in my own experiences as a coach, I have experienced situations. As I was introduced, we went, I took over the LA 36ers, and we went from, they had been bottom 3 years in a row, to grand final, one game away from winning the championship the next year, and was excluded from Coach of the Year that year. It was for one reason, because of who I was, not because of my accolades, because that had never been done before. That's something that's just obscene. So for you guys that follow football, pick your worst football team last year to grand final this year. Coach would probably get Coach of the Year. I didn't, because the other 7 coaches vote on it and they don't really like me. And now I don't know if that's of color, but they don't really like me. So some of the things we do at the 36ers to get rid of this, one, we talk about it. So we acknowledge it right away, okay? And it's okay. We keep a friendly, environment about it. It's jokes, and once we understand that everyone's comfortable, usually it's a lot of jokes that come out. I mean, I'm at the butt of a lot of those jokes from the players, from being Afro-American, and a rap song will come on, and one of the players go, "Oh, you like this, don't you? You know what this is?" So, just little things that they'll do over time, but we acknowledge it, okay? And we put it out there. We celebrate any individual on the team of a different background. We'll celebrate any of their cultural events, okay? Now, to be honest, I'm not gonna tell you I'm the one that's looking up the calendar going, as Greek Easter this weekend, let's make sure we do something. But I do have an individual that is assigned to do that. So he'll come to me and go, "Hey, it's Greek Easter this weekend. We have a young man on the team that's from Greek background. Let's get together and do something." Or we'll celebrate Thanksgiving. So we try to, definitely acknowledge it, okay? And make sure it's out there. And then we indulge. So it's called AIR, acknowledge, indulge, repeat. So we try to make sure that we get right in the middle of it. So instead of just showing up and sitting on the side and not doing anything during Thanksgiving, we make sure that everybody comes with a theme for Thanksgiving. So someone will have to do a background and go, okay, Thanksgiving's about turkeys, it's about the pilgrims, it's about this, it's about that. Come with a theme so that you have indulged yourself into that process. But once you do it and you get it out there and it becomes lighthearted, then the environment opens up. And it's not an issue anymore. I think the worst thing you can do is ignore it, like it's not there, and that no one's different. We're all different, and it's okay to be different. It's some great things about our cultures. I think Australian people are the nicest, most jovial people in the world. I've lived all over the world. You guys can tell a story, you can joke, you can drink. You guys, and it's things about your culture that really stand out about who you are, that makes you who you are, and it's wonderful. And I think those things should be celebrated through all cultures. And I think you guys are willing to do that. I just think we don't talk about it enough. We just got to put it out there, talk about it, get it done, and then we move on from there. So that's my little spiel. I guess we'll have questions if needed.
Yeah, no worries,
Thank you
Joe.
guys for having me.
Thanks so much, Joe. It's great. Thank you. So next we have up Felicity Johnson. And Felicity is a gold and silver Paralympian. And you